Multiple choice question. The next interaction in the interaction tab is the multiple choice question. Now, this is the first one in the question section. We have 3 different types of question. So we'll click on it and see what this one, how we set up the first one. So clicking on it, you see a pop-up window appearing with a lot of information to fill. We'll start by the first one, which is the title. So you will enter the title of your question. Let's say here, what type of tool is being used currently? Now you can see that entering my title, we have the pop-up window here, which is familiar, which let us format the text with the text settings tab, which we saw earlier. And also we have something familiar as well, the image video settings tab. Now clicking on this is exactly the same as setting up a pop-up in one of the basic interactions, whereas you can choose a type, whether you want to put an image or a video. And this is really powerful because you can put that in the question itself. So you can ask something like, okay, just like what I've written now, what type of tool is currently being used, and they see the video and they're like, well, this is a hammer, for example. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on video and it will open my library. Now, if I go and pick a video that I've used previously, let's pick that one. I select it. You can see that my video is docking and it's playing like so. Now, I also have the title at the bottom, but if I go back in the image video settings, we have some more parameters that appeared because I added a video in the question. So you can decide to put the text at the bottom, top, left, or right. So let's put it to the right, for example. So we can format this a little bit, and you can decide the player what the size it will have. So you can really choose and customize your question to your liking. Once this is done, we will move to the other parameters. You can decide by ticking this here that the answers will be shuffled. This means that when the learner will see the questions, this one might appear last. The order will always be different every time you take the question. This one is pretty self-explanatory. You have your answers here. So the first answer would be the right one, but if I click on the second choice, it would be the second answer, which would be the right choice. If I tick multiple answers, well, now you can have 2 of them, which are the right answers. These are the spaces for the actual answers. So I will put my answer. So I enter my text, a hammer. And you can see that, again, you can format your text. And again, you have the image video settings tab. And you can go ahead and, in this case, I'll add an image to the answer. Now, again, it will open the library showing me some of the images. Let's go ahead and choose the hammer as an image. If we go in here, you have those same parameters. I'll make it a little bit smaller so that it fits a little bit better with my question. So let's say like this. Now, if I go to the second answer, I'll add, this one will be a screwdriver. Go add my image real quick. So again, moving real fast in the library. This is the screwdriver here. I will put this at 15 as well. And the last one, which I believe is a plier. Should be somewhere in the library. It's here. 15 as well. Add a title, a plier. Okay, now that this is set up, the only one question is the good one. So I'll untick the screwdriver. And you can see to the right a couple of parameters. First, this one will allow you to move the questions however you want. So you could decide to put the hammer in second if you want. So you can reorganize the order. clicking on the plus button can enable you to add it can enable you to add more questions. I'm sorry, more answers. So it could be like blah, blah, blah. Oops. Sorry. It would be here, this, and this would be this. So you can have as many answers as you want. If you want to erase answers, you simply click on the X button, the last one, and you will erase your answers. Now, once this is set up, you have a second tab, which is the feedback tab. Clicking on this one, by default, there will be a message, either you have it good or wrong. I believe it will say good answer or wrong answer. But if you want, you can customize your feedback depending on if the question was good or bad. So let's say here we will say good job. And on fail, we will say, let's say not good or wrong answer. Please try again. And this is very cool because here you can, depending on the answer, if you could set up a replay button, for example, whereas if someone has a wrong answer, you could say, wrong answer, please try again by clicking on the retry button. You set up the button so that if they fail it, they can click on the button and they will go back to the beginning of the question and redo the question one more time. So this is kind of how you can create some simple branching within your videos with questions depending on how they answer. So once this is done, you simply click on save and your question will appear here. Now, a couple of things. Right away, I can see that you have the same parameters as you have with the basic interactions. So hovering on it, you can see the handles where you can resize your question whenever you want. So this is very convenient. You have a scroll bar on the side in case the question is too big, and you have a continue video button. So you could, clicking on it continues, but you could set up your replay button just at the left of it if you want to. Now, if you click on the edit question button, you will go back to that window here where you set up the question. Real quick, the question was a bit big because of the size of the images, so I will just make it a bit smaller so that the question takes less space. Like so. I'll save. This is better. Now you can resize it horizontally and vertically, and you can also move it around like we have with basic interactions so that you don't have the scroll bar, for example. Now, double clicking on it is the same one as clicking on the edit button that we saw earlier. Here, it's really exactly like the previous animations, where when you go in edit mode, like so, you will have access to the appearance tab, which we saw before. So you can quickly change the visual appearance of your questions like any other type of interaction. You can customize them as well, create new styles. All of this we saw before. We have access to the animation tab, like we saw before as well, to make them appear with different animations. And in the action tab, well, there's only one parameter. It's at what time it appears. So changing it here would make the question appear a bit before, or, well, you basically choose your timing. So once you're happy with that, you click on save. So this is how you've customized your answer. And the other parameters are the same. You have bring forward, bring backward, and delete. All of this stuff that we've seen before. And so what we are seeing right now, this is our question setup, and we see the question in the builder. So what that means is that you will see the feedback, the good answer, which is the B one, the feedback that you have, good job, and you have the video that you can play whenever you want, like so. I'll put it a little bit longer. Okay, now one last thing before we wrap this up. If we'll go see what it looks like in the preview mode to see what it looks like in a real finished course. So clicking on publish, we are now in the video itself. I will go to the interaction. And you can see the question appearing like this with the animation. It's displaying here. I can play the video. Okay, what type of tool is currently being used? Well, I believe this is a hammer. So you click to submit your answer. Good job. And if you redo this again and you would have the wrong answer, it would give the other type of feedback. Yeah. So this is it for multiple choice question. Again, a very nice way to set up questions during your video, during your learning experience.